Okay. So good morning to all of you. As we have covered in last lecture regarding the geographical indications, in this today's lectures we'll discuss about the Natural Biodiversity Act. So under that we'll discuss basically what is biodiversity, then why this particular act is required, and importantly why this particular natural biodiversity or this particular biodiversity act that that includes under the intellectual property rights, what are the benefits, or what basically the act work for, or what is the basic purpose of this particular natural biodiversity act. So before moving to the natural biodiversity act, I just want to know from you, what is biodiversity? Can anyone? What is biodiversity? As we are talking about India is the mega diverse country. So what is meant by the biodiversity? Or have you heard this word Jaiva Vividita? I think in geography or anything in environmental science, basically, we are talking about the biodiversity. So basically, biodiversity, which is the combinations of the two words, biological and the diversity. Biological means what? Bio means life, and diversity means varieties of species. So we can say the biodiversity, that means the variety of life that is present on a earth. It may be your plant species, it may be your animal species, it may be your ecological system or the ecosystem, whether it is a genetic species. There are two basic levels of biodiversity. First is your species diversities, that will refers to the numbers of kinds of living organisms on a earth. Second one, that is the genetic diversity, that differs or that basically refers to the genetic variations within the populations of the species. And last one, that is the ecosystem diversity, means like varieties of habitats are there, some biological communities are there, some ecological process that occurs in a biosphere. So as we know, biodiversity we see today is the outcome of over billion years. We can say like 5 to 6 billion years of evolutionary history, which was shaped by the natural processes and increasing by the influences by the human use of that particular materials which is available on a earth. So as I said, there are various types of lives are present on a earth. So why this particularly biodiversity or the biodiverse resources has to be protected? का गरज है protect करण्याची? Or why there is a requirement of the conservation of that resources or biological diversity? What will happen if we are not conserve these particular resources, or we are not using in a proper way? What will happen? Yes, anyone? So what are the benefits of, or why biodiversity is important basically? Then we'll move to the what is exactly the Biodiversity Act, and there is why there is a need of establishing this act and how it is developed. Why basically biodiversity is important? Can anyone? Have you heard about one phrase is the survival of the fittest? So as we know, each species that is depends upon the service provided by the other species. Simple example, we can take the farmers. फार्मर्स शेती करतात, शेतीतून धान्य पिकवतात आणि ते धान्य आपण पुन्हा युटिलाइज करतो. पण ते धान्य पिकवण्याच्या मागे जी काही प्रोसेस आहे, सपोज त्याच्यामधून येणारे जे काही वीड्स आहेत किंवा तण आहेत, ते तुम्ही जे आपली केटल्स आहेत बोर आहेत त्यांना फीड केलं जातं. त्यांच्या वेस्टमधून येणारं जे काही मटेरियल्स आहे ते आपण ऑर्गॅनिक मॅन्युअर्स म्हणून युटिलाइज करतो. सो दॅट ईच अँड एव्हरी स्पेसीज that is depends upon the service that is provided by the other species, and that's why the conservations of these uh, resources must be carried out. Means conservation has to be carried out, and you have to use in a sustainable ways, not like that आहे आपल्याकडे म्हणून आपण कसा युटिलाइज करतो. Recently there are many cases happens like Amazon forest got burned, and we know how much loss we have. If you are not maintain the resources, or we are not using the resources in a proper way, obviously it will get lost at some times. So to protect them or to prevent them, now forget about all those things. Uh, in Ratnagiri itself, now Save Konkan movie is going on because of the deforestation or many things are there. Most of the Konkan land gets means तिथली जी काही झाडं वगैरे ती पूर्ण कट डाऊन केलेली आहेत किंवा कट केलेली आहेत. सो ह्याचा इफेक्ट कुठे होणार आहे ज्यावेळी तुमची इकॉलॉजिकल सिस्टीम डिसबॅलन्स होणार आहे त्यावेळी तुम्हाला आयडेंटिफाय होणार आहे. Even we know about Nanar Prakalp, the Nanar project. That is the Jaitapur project. Why we are opposing that project? Because it's not we, but most of the people are opposing that project because of that particular project. Some of the species, that special species in that particular regions, they may get destroyed, and to prevent that, the basically they those are the protesting against the Jaitapur Nana Protocol. And there are many protests they have taken place, like since from the Enron and till now Jaitapur. So they are preserving our resources, the diversity in unity. आपण जे म्हणतो ना की विविधतेत एकता. So biodiversity means what? So biodiversity, that means it is the variety and the variability of the life on the earth. So India, which is the one of the mega diverse country out of 2.5% lands of the world, India including 7.2%. So you can imagine how much amount of diversity is there. We know there are different regions are there. We call as a biodiversity hotspot. Means these are the biogeographic regions. So in India there are four biodiversity hotspots. First is the Himalaya, second one that is the Western Ghat, third one that is the Indo-Burma regions, and fourth one that is the Sundarland. So in these hotspots there are numerous species. So that species has to be preserved or has to be we can say the conserved before they get end. So why this particular biodiversity is important? Because biodiversity that boosts the ecosystem productivity. Well, each species, no matter how it is small or how it is large species, but they have an important roles to play. मी मगाशी म्हटलं एक सायकल असते की ती सायकल कंप्लीट केल्यावर म्हणजे सायकल सायकल ती कंप्लीट होते. इको सायकल आपण एन्व्हायरमेंटल सायन्स मध्ये बघितली असेल की एखाद्या स्पेसिसवर दुसरा स्पेसिस कसा डिपेंड असतो. सो the healthy biodiversity they offers various advantages like protections of the water resources, soil formation and its protections, or we can say the nutrient storage and the recycling. Along with that, the biological resources they are act as such as the foods. We have some medicinal resources and pharmaceutical drugs. Some wood products are there. So that's why these biological resources has to be preserved. So here we can see this is the environment atlas ecov. So these are the different natural resources are there. There are some protected lands. So under the under the NBA, Natural Biodiversity Act, or the Natural Biodiversity Authority, they can declare some biodiversity heritage site. Means there are some reserved place are there, or the protected areas are there. Like in, if you're talking about the in Maharashtra, there is a in Chandrapur, in Tadoba, that special sanctuary is reserved for the tigers, right? Same for Bhimashankar in Pune, in Sindhudurg. There is a special region is protected for the marines. It's called a Malvan marines. की जिथे फक्त तुमच्या marines स्पेसीज आहेत, मग तुमची तिथे अलगा असेल, फंगा असेल किंवा व्हेरियस टाईपच्या तुमच्या फिश स्पेसीज असतील. तर तिथे तुम्हाला एखादं वर्क कॅरीड आउट करायचं किंवा तिथल्या ज्या रिसोर्सेस आहेत त्या जर तुम्हाला कमर्शियली युटिलाइज करायच्या असतील तर ऑब्विसली यू हॅव टू टेक द परमिशन्स फ्रॉम द गव्हर्नमेंट. So these are the natural resources. What are the benefits we are getting from the natures? Like water resources are there, some medicines are there, foods are there. But as we know, these natural resources now comes to end because of the various reasons, like recreational or the overuse of that particular resources, pollution that is an important factor that is affected, or the land management or the invasive species. So to protect them, this particular Natural Biodiversity Act plays the important role. Now, my second question is that why this particular Natural Biodiversity Act is included under the IPR, as this particular act comes under the environmental science or in environmental science, but why this particular Biodiversity Act is included under the IPR? Can anyone का include केला असेल? Because if you are using some natural resources, okay, suppose in Sadoli there is a specific natural source is there. By using that natural sources, you are developing any medicine, okay. So and you have commercialized that medicine. So you are using the resources from Sadoli and you are preparing the medicines that will be available in the world market. So the villagers that, or we can say the protectors, those grows that particular resources, they will not get the benefit, or the Indian government will not get the benefits if there is no laws or there is no regulations over such a utilizations of the resources, or they will not get any benefits. So when you are filing any patent against that particular natural resources, there must be some legal framework. So whatever the use of that particular resources, or we can say what are the benefits that you have to share with the whoever the villagers are there, as well as the Indian government. So for that purpose, this particular Biodiversity Act comes under the intellectual property rights. So these acts that covers those are the foreigners or the NRIs or any others which are not residents of India, and still they are using the Indian natural resources and they are getting the benefit. So to share the benefits or to share that benefits equally with all the or you can say the with all the levels, means for the rural area also, for the national levels also. Means suppose एखादं तुम्ही कोणत्याही म्हणजे महाराष्ट्रातल्या एखाद्या रिजन मधलं तुम्ही एखादा नॅचरल रिसोर्सेस घेताय. कन्सिडर अल्गी मरान रिसोर्सेस सिंधुदुर्गमध्ये अवेलेबल आहे किंवा गोव्यामध्ये अवेलेबल आहे. स्कुबा डायव्हिंग करून तुम्ही कल्टिवेट केला तिथून किंवा तुम्ही तो ऑब्टेन केला त्या पर्टिक्युलर रिजन मधून आणि त्या पर्टिक्युलर त्याची ऍक्टिव्हिटी तुम्ही परफॉर्म केली आणि त्याच्यावर काहीतरी एखादं मेडिसिन तुम्ही डेव्हलप केलं आणि ते मेडिसिन तुमचं वर्ल्ड मार्केटमध्ये अवेलेबल आहे. सो यू विल गेट द बेनिफिट. बट व्हॉट अबाउट द रिसोर्सेस, मीन्स ज्या ठिकाणी तुमचा रिसोर्स अवेलेबल झाला आहे, ज्या ठिकाणामधून तुम्ही तो जे काही मटेरियल्स आहे ते तुम्ही अवेलेबल केले, सो तिथल्या लोकांना त्याचा काहीच बेनिफिट नाही आहे किंवा इंडियन गव्हर्नमेंटला त्याचा काहीच बेनिफिट भेटणार नाही आहे. So, for that purpose, this particular Natural Biodiversity Act or the Natural Biodiversity National Biodiversity Authority plays the important role. So, we'll see what exactly the biodiversity or what exactly or what is the Natural Biodiversity Act, how it is comes in force in India, what are their benefits that we are going to discuss in today's lecture. So, what is biodiversity? So biodiversity is a variety and a variability of life on the earth. So it includes a variety of life on the earth, plant species, animal species, the ecosystems are there, microorganisms are there. So, so variety of life that are found on earth, that is called as a biodiversity. So biodiversity is typically measures of the variations at the genetic, species and the ecosystem layer. Genetics diversity, that means which refers to the genetic variations within the populations of the species. Species diversity, that means it refers to the number of kind of living organisms on a earth. And the ecosystem level, that means there are varieties of habitats are there, some biological communities are there, ecological processes are there that occurs on a biosphere, that is called the ecosystem biodiversity. So these are the three basic types, or we can say that it manifests itself in the three levels. That biodiversity it manifests itself in a three levels: species diversity, genetic diversity, and the ecosystem diversity. The terrestrial biodiversity is usually greater near the equator, which is result of the warm climatic and the high primary productivity. As I have discussed about the hotspot, biodiversity hotspots are there. These are the biogeographic regions are there where most of means they have the numerous species available, like tropical regions are there, like equator or tropical in the sense आपण हे भूगोलमध्ये झालं equator, that means विषुववृत्त or whatever it may be. So because of the climatic conditions, the habitat will be the change or the productivity of that particular resources or the availability of the resources that is based upon the climatic conditions. So that biodiversity is not evenly distributed even it's on the earth. So basically which is rich in a tropical regions means it's called as a मराठीमध्ये त्याला उष्णकटिबंधीय प्रदेश जे म्हटले जातात. So mostly the forest regions. Like in a Western Ghat, there are more than 10,000 species, plant species are available. Forget about the animal species. More than 10,000 plant species are there. Various types of microorganisms are available. These are divided into their various habitat like reptiles, like amphibians, or likewise. So, tropical forest ecosystems cover less than 10% of the Earth's surface and contain about 19% of the world's species. I am talking about the Indian biodiversity. Not so in under the Indian biodiversity, more than 19,000 species are there, including the plant and animal species. Marine biodiversity is also high along with the coastal regions in the Western Pacific, where sea surface temperature is highest, and in the mid latitudinal band in all the oceans, and that's why I have discussed about the marine regions in Maharashtra, which is preserved in a Malwan. Uh, they are called as a Malwan Marines is there. So there are some protected areas are there, as I have discussed regarding Tadoba Udyan or Tadoba Sanctuary for in Chandrapur, which is specially reserved for the tigers. Like then Sanjay Gandhi National Park in Borivali, that is also reserved for animals. Like there are some means, there are some lands that are reserved for the plant species also. So these are the protected areas by the government of means government of the Maharashtra to protect that species. Koina will be there, which will be preserved for which will be called as the wildlife sanctuary. So that will be preserved for the again the same for the animal purpose. Bhima Shankar is there for the in Pune. That is also the protected areas in the Maharashtra. So this biodiversity that generally tends to clusters in the hotspots. So as I have said, the biodiversity hotspots are there. Means these are the biogeographic regions. There are four biodiversity hotspots in India. That is Himalaya, Western Ghat, Indo-Burma regions, and Sundarland. And these hotspots have the numerous species. So this particular hotspot has been increasing to the time, but nowadays it will be like to slow in your futures. आपण म्हणतो काही काही स्पेसिस आपण आपल्या पुढच्या पिढीला दाखवू पण शकत नाही ते आता कुठेतरी डिस्ट्रॉय होत चाललं. So to protect that species or to protect this particular uh, the species in that particular regions, this biodiversity act plays important roles. आता या रिसोर्सेसचा लॉस कशामुळे होतो? आपण मगाशी काही रिझन बघितले पण त्याच्यापेक्षा अजून काही रिझन्स आहेत की आपण त्या पर्टिक्युलर रिसोर्सेसचा एक्सेसिव्ह यूज करतो for the productions of the medicines or for the other purpose also. So if you are using that particular resources for your self commercialization purpose or the self benefit purpose, you have to pay for them or you have to utilize with the help of some permissions. जर त्याच्यावर कोणते रिस्ट्रिक्शन्स नसतील तर कोणीही तसं त्या रिसोर्सेसचा युटिलाइज केला असता आणि तो रिसोर्सेस लवकरात लवकर संपून गेला असता. So this particular National Biodiversity Act, or we can say the National Biodiversity Authority, which is a autonomous body under the Ministry of the Environment, of the Forest and the Climate Change, is to implement the provisions under the Biological Diversity Act 2002, which will work on basically three basic objectives. What are the three basic objectives? First is conservation and sustainable use or conservation of the biological diversity. Second main objective, the sustainable use of its components. And third one that is important is the fair and equitable sharing of the benefits arising from the genetic resources. So we'll see how it is act is developed or what are the features of the Biodiversity Act. But before moving to the Biodiversity Act, there is a one convention, international convention that will take place in 1992 at Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. So where one international means one Earth summit that is took place. Prithvi Sammelan they have called where more than 196 countries have participated. This particular CBD is also called as a UNCED, that is means by the United Nations Conference on the Environment and the Development. So under that they have discussed on three main things. First is about the climate change. Second one the sustainable development of the natural resources, and third one that is the biodiversity. And on that biodiversity, this particular CBD is comes into force. What is meant by the CBD? CBD, that is the Conventions on the Biological Diversity, which is a multilateral treaty. So as I already discussed, in 1992, whenever the Earth Summit took place in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, they have discussed on the three main things regarding means this particularly conference they have took place for the environmental and the developmental changes. So the conventions has the three main goals. First That is the conservation of the biological diversity, the sustainable use of its components, and third one, the fair and equitable sharing of the benefits that is arising from the genetic resources. Now, basically, the CBD means the Conventions on Biological Diversity. Its main objective is to develop the national strategies for the conservation and the sustainable use of resources. So, basically, it is often seen as the key documents regarding the sustainable developments of natural resources. So as of 2000 and I mean still 2018, there are 196 parties are there, which includes 195 states and the European Union. India as a part of this particular CBD conventions. So in 2000, India established a law regarding the biodiversity, which will comes in force in 2002. That is called as a Natural Biodiversity Act. So this particular Biodiversity Act, uh, just 1 minute. So here, this particular CBD was signed in 5th June 1992 at Rio de Janeiro at Earth Summit, but which is effective from 29 December 1993. So at the initial time, 30 countries have ratified this particular uh, conventions, or they have signed this agreement. Until now there are 196 parties are there. So here we can see the green zone that will represent the states parties, those who have uh, ratified the conventions on biological diversity, and this the blue part that are only signed but they are not ratified. What do you mean by the ratified? So they have the means they agree the that particular conventions, or they agree the whatever the agreements made under the CBD, but they have not participated. Means these particular regions, they don't have to follow this CBD. Ratify in the sense, in Marathi we can say मंजुरी जी दिली जाते. So likewise, so there are some signatories countries are there and some other countries are there that are only signatories, means त्यांनी फक्त त्या particular convention वर sign केले. So there are various countries are there. So under the CBD, uh, just 1 minute. So CBD has the two supplementary agreements. There are two supplementary agreements under the CBD. First is that is the Cartagena Protocol, and second one that is the Nagoya Protocols. So Cartagena Protocol, which is on a biosafety to the conventions of the biological diversity. So basically, this particular Cartagena Protocol, which is for the movement of living modified organisms, LMOs, means it protects the biodiversity from the potential risk possessed by the living modified organism resulting from the biotechnologies. Under the Cartagena protocol, what they have signed that under this protocol or under these particular agreements, those are the species developed by the biotechnology that cannot be transferred without the permissions, or without taking the cannot be transferred from one country to the another country. So this particular supplement that it comes in force in 2003, and the Nagoya Protocol that is for an access to genetic resources and a fair and equitable sharing benefits that is arising from the utilizing the conventions on the biological diversity. So these both Cartagena protocols and the Nagoya protocols that provide the legal framework for the effective implementations of one of the three objectives of the CBD. What are the three objectives of the CBD? First is conservation, second one is sustainable use of the components, and third one fair and equitable sharing of benefits. Cartagena protocol, that is for means the transport of the biogenetic animals from one country to the another country, means the import and the exports. And Nagoya Protocol, that is for the equitable sharing of the benefits that is arising from the genetic resources of that particular region. So for that purpose, these two protocols are very much important. So what are the issues that are dealt under the conventions? That includes, first, they are discuss about the measures, the incentives of the conservation and sustainable use of the biological diversity, regulated access to genetic resources and the traditional knowledge, it is including prior informed consent of the party providing the resources, then sharing in a fair and equitable ways. So the result of the research and the development and the a benefit arising from the commercial and the utilization of the genetic resources with the contracting parties that provide resources, means like any governments or the local communities that provide the traditional knowledge or any biodiversity resources that is utilized for any research work or any purpose or for the commercializations. So whatever the benefit will be there, that must be equally shared with these particular parties or the contracting parties that providing the resources, either it is the traditional knowledge or either it is the traditional resources also access and transfer of technology, like including the biotechnology, to the governments or the local communities that provide the traditional knowledge and the biodiversity also, means whatever the information you have generated or whatever the uh, output that we have get after utilizing that traditional resources, so the technology is also transfer or the access of that technology has to be allowed to that resource, that particular those are those providing the resources. Also the technical and the scientific cooperations, educations and the public awareness and the provisions of the financial resources. And importantly, the national reporting on the efforts to implement the treaty committees. So these are the points that they have discussed under the uh, biodiversity conventions, where it is held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 1992. The sign, these particular conventions were signed on 5th June 1992, but which is actually comes in force from 29 December 1993. The three basic objectives are there. First is the conservations, second one that is the sustainable use, and the fair and equitable sharing benefits arising from the genetic resources. So these are basically, so as a India, as a part of this particular or those sign the uh, CBD. So the Biological Diversity Act 2002, which is an act of the Parliament of India for the preservation of the biological diversity in India and provides the mechanism for equitable sharing of benefits arising out of the use of traditional biological resources and knowledge. So suppose anyone wants to carry out some research work in India or by using the natural resources which are available in India, they have to take the permission from the specific authorities. Without their permissions, they cannot utilize the resources. Even those are the Indian companies are there. They also have to take the permissions while utilizing those natural resources. And once you find out any solutions or your any product, so the output must be shared equally with the government, Indian government, with the peoples of that specific territory who are providing you the resources or who are providing the traditional knowledge to them. So for that purpose, this particular Biological Diversity Act provides a legal framework. So that provides a legal framework for the effective implementations of whatever the discussion that is takes place under the CBD. There are various protests has been taken place. If you are talking about in itself Ratnagiri district, in recently in वेळास गाव माहिती आहे सगळ्यांना गुहागर मध्ये आय थिंक आहे. तिथे टर्टल प्रिझर्वेशन झालं होतं, म्हणजे कासवांची जी पिल्लं वगैरे आहेत त्यांचं प्रिझर्व करून त्यांना नंतर मग ते समुद्रामध्ये सोडलं जात होतं. कासव महोत्सव म्हटलं जात होतं. त्याच्यामध्ये त्यांनी स्पेसिफिकली दोज टर्टल स्पेसीज की ज्या आता कुठेतरी लॉस होत चालत किंवा कमी होत चालत त्याचं प्रिझर्वेशन करण्यात प्रिझर्वेशन केलं जातं. आता सध्या रिसेंटमध्ये सिंधुदुर्गमध्ये जी मोहीम चालू आहे पाणमांजर, की आता बेसिकली प्रत्येक मी मगाशी म्हटल्याप्रमाणे की प्रत्येक स्पेसिस हा दुसऱ्या स्पेसिसच्या ऍक्टिव्हिटीजवर डिपेंड असतो, म्हणजे सर्वायवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट, की वन स्पेसिस इज डिपेंड्स अपॉन द सर्व्हिस प्रोव्हाइडेड बाय द अदर स्पेसिस. सो प्रत्येक त्या पर्टिक्युलर लिव्हिंग ऑर्गॅनिझमचा कुठे ना कुठे काहीतरी रोल्स आहे. आपला एन्व्हायरमेंटलचा जो काही बॅलन्स आहे तो जी सस्टेनेबिलिटी आहे ती बॅलन्स करण्यामध्ये. So to protect that, this particular Biological Diversity Act plays important roles. So that act was enacted to meet the obligations under the Conventions of the Biological Diversity, to which India is a party 2002. So basically, the process for starting this particular Biological Diversity Act started in 1999, but it actually comes in force in 2002. So the Act is to provide for the conservation of the biological diversity, sustainable use of its components, and the fair and equitable sharing of the benefits that are arising out of the use of biological resources, the knowledge, and for the matters connected therewith and the incidental thereto. So the aim of this Biological Diversity Act is to conserve the resources, or whoever going to use that resources, they have to pay the amount for utilizing those resources. Along with that, whatever the outcome will be there, they have to share their benefits equally. So we'll see there is a level, or we can see the mechanisms of the Biological Diversity Act or the National Biodiversity Authority. There is a three-tier mechanisms that we'll discuss later on. So what are the salient features of the Biological Diversity Act? So this particular Biological Diversity Acts that regulates biological resources of the countries, to conserve and sustainably use the biological diversities, to respect and protect the knowledge of the local communities related to the biodiversity, to secure the sharing of benefits with the local peoples as the conservers of the biological resources and the holders of the knowledge and information relating to the use of that biological resources. So to secure the sharing of benefits. Along with that, the conservations and the development of the areas. So as I have already discussed, uh, this particular NBA, that is National Biodiversity Authority. So sometimes government can declare the biodiversity heritage sites. It is of importance from the standpoints of biological diversity by declaring them as a biological diversity heritage sites. मगाशी काही तुम्हाला एक्झाम्पल दिली, ताडोबाचं असेल किंवा बोरिवलीचं संजय गांधी नॅशनल पार्क असेल किंवा भीमाशंकर अभयारण्य असेल किंवा कोयना व्याघ्र प्रकल्प असेल किंवा मालवण मरायन्स असतील. सो these are the some protected sites where those natural resources are being protected under the government. So that comes under the Biological Diversity Act. The protections and the rehabilitations of the threatened species means there are some species त्यांचं काही जणांचं पुनर्वसन केलं जातं किंवा त्या प्रोटेक्टेड केल्या जातात. त्या स्पेसिफिक ज्या स्पेसीज आहेत त्या कुठेतरी कालावश होत चालल्या आहेत किंवा त्या डिस्ट्रॉय होत चालल्या आहेत. So for those species, and the involvement of the institutions of the state governments in the broad scheme of the implementations of the Biological Diversity Act through the constituting the committees. So there are three-tier mechanism is there. On the central line there is the NBA, that is the National Biodiversity Authority, that will work at the central regions. So it is a statutory autonomous body under the Ministry of the Environment, Forest and the Climate Change, Government of India, which is established in 2003 to implement the provisions under the Biological Diversity Act. Then state biodiversity boards are there, SBB. So these are present for each and every state. So there are 29 states and 7 union territories. No, sorry. Nine union territories. Now Kashmir and Ladakh is also there. So total uh, 38 state biodiversity board. For each and every state, there is a separate state biodiversity board is there, and at a local level, they have established BMC, Biodiversity Management Committees. Now, there are more than 10,000 committees they have established for the, Maharashtra itself, Biodiversity Management Committees. So, total 1,39,831 biodiversity management committees are there in India. So we'll see the functions of uh, each and every authorities. So National Biodiversity Authority is a statutory autonomous body under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of the India, which is established in 2003 to implement the provisions under the Biological Diversity Act 2002, when after the India signed the conventions on the biological diversity in 1992. The headquarters, which is situated in Chennai, it acts as a facilitating, regulating, and advisory body to the Government of India on issues of conservation, sustainable use of the biological resources, and a fair and equitable sharing of the benefits arising out of the use of biological resources. So these are the three basic, we can say, objectives of Biodiversity Act, like objectives of CBD. First is conservation of natural resources. Second one, whatever the natural resources are there, to utilize that natural resources sustainably. And third one, the sharing of benefits that are arising out of the use of the biological resources. Also, it advises the state governments in identifying the areas of the biodiversity, and they are declared as a biodiversity hotspots, or they are declared as a heritage sites also. Uh, Now, since the establishment, NB has supported creations of SBBs in 29 states and facilitated the establish around 1,39,831 BMCs. Means प्रत्येक स्टेट मध्ये स्टेट बायोडायव्हर्सिटी बोर्ड्स and त्याच्या अंडर various biodiversity management committees आहेत. The maximum biodiversity management committees are in UP, like means 58,000 BMCs are there under the in UP government. Then comes the Maharashtra, 34,000. Then MP, 33,000. Minimum BMCs are in a Sikkim. Only 35 BMCs are there. So these are, we can say, the three-tier mechanisms are there. Means for the central level, this will be the NBA. For the state level, it will be the SBB, and for the local level, it will be uh, BMC. It is a Biodiversity Management Committees. So here, in short, they have given NBA, which is formed in 1st October 2003, which is a government type agency. Purpose: implementations of the Biological Diversity Act, located at Chennai. Uh, the recently Anil Kumar Jain, who is the chairperson of NBA, and the parent organization is our Ministry of Environmental Forest and the Climate Change under the Government of India. Now we'll talk about the state biodiversity boards. As I have discussed, this is for the central level NBA. This particular SBB is for your state level. So SBBs are to be established under the section 22 of the Act accordingly in all the 29 states and 9 union territories. So the functions of the state biodiversity boards are: it advises the state governments subject to guidelines issued by the central governments on matters that is relating to the conservation of the biodiversity, sustainable use of its components, and equitable sharing of the benefits arising out of the utilizations of the biological resources. So keep remembering these three basic objectives. So all the bodies till now we have seen under the CBD also, under the NBA also, and now for the state biodiversity board also. They have the three basic objectives. So all the Natural Biodiversity Act revolve around these three basic objectives: conservation, sustainable use, and sharing the benefits. It also regulates by granting the approval or otherwise request for the commercial utilizations or biosurvey and bioutilizations of any biological resources by the Indians. And suppose if any Indians want to utilize the resources in a specific region, so SBB allow them by paying strict fees or whatever the process will be there. ABS applications are there that we'll discuss later on. So he can grant the approve for utilizing that resources or for the biosurvey purpose or for the bioutilization purpose for the Indians. If any foreigners want to utilize the specific resources in India, they have to take permission from the NBA at a central level. Also, it performs other functions as necessary to carry out the provisions of this act as prescribed by the state government. Means sometimes they have to carry out some uh, uh, some informative things that they have to provide it to the peoples also, or some they can suggest the central governments also regarding to preserve this site, or they can declare some specific areas as a hotspot, biological hotspot. So likewise, there are various functions they can perform. Then last one, that is a BMC. BMC is not like a Mumbai Municipal Corporations. It is Biodiversity Management Committee. So as per the Act, this is the local bodies. Means at the local level or local level, this particular BMC works. So the local bodies that is constitute the BMC, it will according to the sections 41 within their area. The purpose of promoting conservation, sustainable use, and documentation of the biological diversity. Here, the important thing is that to document the biological diversity, it is called as a PBR, People Biodiversity Register. They have to create the PBR, means in that particular area, which type of crops are taken, or what are the different types of uh, natural resources are there. So that includes the preservations of the habitats, conservations of the land race, varieties and cultivars, domesticated stocks and breeds of the animals, microorganisms, and chroniclings of knowledge relating to biological diversity. So under the PBR, what is PBR? People's Biodiversity Register. So this particular BMC consists of chairperson, a 6 persons that is nominated by the local bodies, in which 1/3 must be the women and 18% must be the SC or ST, because these are the tribal peoples. They know the more knowledge, more traditional knowledge about the resources which are available and the utilizations of that resources also. The functions of the BMC: prepare, maintain, and validate the People's Biodiversity Register, as I already discussed, PBR, in consultations with the local people. Then the BMC is to maintain the register, giving the information about the details of the biological resources and the traditional knowledge which is available within the jurisdictions of the BMC, and advise on any matter referred to it by the state biodiversity boards or authority for the granting approval, or to maintain the data about the local weight and protect and the practitioners using the biological resources. म्हणजे तुमच्या प्रत्येक पर्टिक्युलर एरियामध्ये जर एखादा हकीम असेल किंवा वैद्य असेल, तर ते कोणते नॅचरल रिसोर्सेस युटिलाइज करतात, त्यांच्याकडे कोणकोणते नॅचरल रिसोर्सेस अवेलेबल्स आहेत, बायोलॉजिकल रिसोर्सेस अवेलेबल्स आहेत, ते डिटेल इन्फॉर्मेशन्स त्या पर्टिक्युलर PBR मध्ये मेन्शन केलेली असते, किंवा त्या पर्टिक्युलर रिजन्स मध्ये ट्रॅडिशनल नॉलेज कोणतं आहे. मध्ये केरळमध्ये एक वनस्पती सापडली होती, त्याचं त्यांनी रिसर्च कॅरीड आउट करून जीवनी म्हणून एक प्रिपेअर केलं गेलं, आणि मग ते रिसोर्सेस किंवा त्याचे जो बेनिफिट्स आहेत, ऑब्विसली तिथलं त्या पर्टिक्युलर ट्रायबलला त्याचा बेनिफिट्स मिळाला, किंवा तो जो काही जे त्यांनी मेडिसिन डेव्हलप केलं होतं त्याचा ॲक्सेस त्या पर्टिक्युलर ट्रायबलला तिथे मिळाला. सो बेसिकली this particular Natural Biodiversity Act plays various roles. So these are the three basic layers. We can see the three-tier mechanisms. On a central level, it is National Biodiversity Authority (NBA). In a state level, Biodiversity Board, and in a local level, it is BAMC. That is the Biodiversity Management Committee. Okay. So what is covered by the Biological Diversity Act? So So that the acts cover the for sorry the acts cover the conservations, use of the biological resources, and associated knowledge occurring in India for the commercializations purpose, or for the research purpose, or for the purpose of the biosurvey, or for the bio utilizations also. It also provides a framework for the access of biological resources and sharing the benefits. And basically it also includes the transfer of result of the research for the IPAR applications. So these are the points that they have covered under the Biological Diversity Act. Means those are the biological resources, and along with the associated knowledge of that biological resources or traditional knowledge, so to sharing that knowledge or to utilize that knowledge for the commercialization purpose, for the research purpose, or for the biosurvey and the bioutilization purpose, or whatever the outcome it is outcome from this particular biological resources and associated knowledge. When you are transferring for the IPR, when you are getting the patent for that natural resources, you have to inform the NBA. Without informing the NBA, you cannot apply for the uh, intellectual property rights. So, who is covered by the Biological Diversity Act and what do they require? So, basically, if suppose if any non-citizen or the non-resident Indians are there, or if any institute is registered or incorporated outside the India, or any Indian institutions, but there is no Indian participant participations in share of the capital or the management will be there. So जर याच्यापैकी कोणी जर रिसर्च वर्क कॅरी आउट करायचं म्हटलं म्हणजे मोस्टली फॉरेनर्स की त्याचा इंडियाशी काही संबंध नाहीये, किंवा अशी कोणती तरी इन्स्टिट्यूट की ज्याच्यामध्ये कोणताही इंडियन नाहीये किंवा कोणत्याही इंडियनचे कॅपिटल्स किंवा कॅपिटल शेअर्स नाहीये, किंवा अशी कोणती इन्स्टिट्यूशन्स की जी इंडियाच्या बाहेर कुठेतरी एस्टॅब्लिश केली गेली, सो दे रिक्वायर्ड द approval of NBA when they access or the use biological resources and the associated knowledge. But if it is the if it is the Indian persons or the Indian citizens or Indian institute, they do not require to approval from the NBA, but they have to inform the SBB, State Biodiversity Board. They have to inform prior to undertaking any research with the intent of the commercialization. But if any Indians, if any IPR related applications will be there, they must have to inform to the NBA for the both non-citizens of India and for the citizen of the India also. And what are the excluded under the Biological Diversity Act? So mostly some normal commodities means आपण regular utilize करतो जी natural resources आहेत, ते याच्यामधून exclude केले जातात, किंवा some other natural resources that is used by the farmers or some livestock keepers are there. म्हणजे काही काही हनी बीजचं प्रोडक्शन केलं जातं, किंवा ट्रॅडिशनल काही जरी काही मटेरियल्स आहे की ज्याच्यामधून जे मेडिसिनल पर्पजसाठी युटिलाइज करते, मीन्स फॉर जे वैद्य किंवा आपण हकीम्स म्हणतो की त्यांच्याकडे ट्रॅडिशनल रिसोर्सेस किंवा नॅचरल रिसोर्सेस आहेत, ते बेसिकली याच्यामधून एक्सक्लुडेड केले जातात. आणि एनी कोलॅबरेटिव्ह रिसर्च वर्क बिटवीन द इंडियन्स अँड द फॉरेन institutions that conforms the central government's guidelines and has its approval and will subject to the following notified guidelines by the Ministry of the Environment and the Forest Government of the India. Means या सगळ्या गोष्टी त्याच्यामधून एक्सक्लूड केल्या जातात. म्हणजे स्पेसिफिकली जे आपल्या रेग्युलर कमोडिटीज आहेत, नॉर्मल ट्रेडेड कमोडिटीज आहेत, त्या एक्सक्लूड केल्या जातात, किंवा असे काही कल्टिवेटर्स आणि ब्रीडर्स असतात की जे आता मधमाशांचा व्यवसाय मीन्स आर्टिफिशियल हनी कलेक्ट केलं जातं, किंवा बीज मत्स्य बीज घेऊन मासे डेव्हलप केले जातात. सो these are the excluded under the Biological Diversity Act, and some collaborative works with the Indian governments and the foreign institutions under the permissions of the NBA. So all that are excluded under this particular Biological Diversity Act. Now the remaining filing procedure under the Natural Biodiversity Act that we'll discuss in the next lecture. It is called as the ABS. It is the Access and Benefit Sharing Applications that we'll discuss in our next lectures. Okay, so we'll stop here. We'll cover the remaining parts in our next lecture. Thank you.